Hello everyone, welcome back to A Moment with Nirma. In today's video, I'll be showing you all how I make my quinoa. It is a very tasty, delicious grain and nutritional grain that is worth a try. If you never heard of quinoa before, it has complete protein that provides all 9 essential amino acids. It's high in fiber. So you have issues going to the restroom, this will definitely help you. It's gluten free, so if you're gluten intolerant, this will definitely be a grain for you to choose. It's rich in vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and so much more. So here you'll see me rinsing the quinoa. And so it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you're using 1 cup of quinoa, you're going to use 1 cup of water. So in this video, I'll be using 5 cups of quinoa to 5 cups of water later. So here I am preparing my pigeon peas. And this is a trick that my mom showed me in order for the beans to soften up a little bit. You'll soak it in some baking soda. And then you'll let it sit for about 15 to 20 minutes. It can go less. If you're running behind, you can do 10 minutes. It'll still get the job done. And so I don't know if you all have ever tried pigeon peas. Sometimes even when you cook it, it can still feel a little bit undercooked. So this is a trick that my mom taught me and it has worked. So now we're going to go ahead and cook our quinoa. First, we're going to toast our quinoa. Now, this step is totally optional. However, ever since I learned to do this, I can see why it is beneficial because it brings out more flavor of the grain. And so, again, if you don't have the time, you can skip this step. But if you do have a little bit time, you're going to toast it. And you're not going to burn it. You're going to allow the grain to brown in a little bit. And you'll hear it crack a little bit. And that's how you know it's being toasted. And once it's browning and you hear those sounds, you can then add your liquid. Now, you can use water or vegetable broth. I did not have vegetable broth, so I made a vegetable kind of broth by just using 5 cups of water because I have 5 cups of quinoa. And then I'll be using a tablespoon of this non-chicken bouillon, which is going to give my quinoa so much flavor. So much flavor. This part is so important. So you're going to go ahead and mix it up until it is well incorporated. And when it starts to boil, then we will go ahead and turn down our volume, or not our volume, but our temperature on our stove. We will turn it down to low, and then we're going to put a lid on our quinoa, and we're going to let that cook for about 15 minutes. Once it's cooked, you will go ahead and remove it from the stove or the hot surface, and then you are going to let it sit for another 10-15 minutes, and this will allow it to continue to cook. After 10 minutes, you're going to fluff it out with a fork. And you can all see how delicious this already looks. It's not mushy. It's not undercooked. It's perfect. And if you wanted to stop right here and just make this a meal with some sides, you can. Because it will taste as delicious as it looks. However, I'm going to take it another notch and add pigeon peas. So I ran out of Epis. So I'm making my Epis with some garlic cloves, 2 onions, green onions, thyme, rosemary, and sage. And I'm going to use my mortar pestle and I'm going to smash it. I'm going to smash the herbs so it can release all of that flavor from the herbs. And if it looks just like this, this is perfectly fine. You don't have to get it super fine. Now we're going to rinse our beans from the baking soda, and we're going to rinse it about 3 to 4 times or until the water runs clear. Now this type of beans or peas is one of our favorite beans here, and where we live it's very hard to find pigeon peas. So when we travel to South Florida, we stock up on them. And just the other day, I realized one of the stores I usually go to have them. And so I was so glad to find a store finally that carries them. And so I look forward to getting some more when we run out. So we're gonna continue to rinse off our peas, and once we're done rinsing our peas, we are going to cook it, and we're going to use 2 tablespoons of oil, and then we're going to grab our herb mix and we're going to saute it. Now you don't want to burn the herbs, but you do want it to brown in a little bit, because what that does is release the flavors into the oil, which makes your food so delicious. So we're going to go ahead and stir that up and let it brown in just like that. And then we're going to add our peas. We're going to saute our peas. We're going to season our peas. You can use whatever seasoning you like, seasonings that you usually use on your rice or any grain that you make. So the opportunities are endless. But here I'm just using Himalayan salt, complete seasoning, turmeric, and I also used a tablespoon of the non-chicken bouillon. And keep in mind that your quinoa already has flavor, so don't add too much salt or flavor, because you can possibly over season it or it can be salty. So add a little bit, and then at the end, if it needs more, then you can add however much more you need. So we're gonna stir our mixture, and we're going to let that saute until the beans are cooked. And you'll see that the beans will start to kind of turn brown or this beige color. And that's how you'll know it's cooked. But if you're unsure, you can just taste one and you'll see whether or not if it's cooked or if it needs more time. So here are the seasonings I used. So here we have it. We have it getting the beans being stuck on our pot, and that's okay because that's where all the flavor is. So all we're going to do is use a little bit of water to be able to scrape up all of that flavor, and just about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of water will work. And then our beans are cooked, so we're going to add our quinoa. Essentially, this is like a stir fry. Yeah, kind of. And so we're going to add our quinoa to our beans. And y'all, this was so delicious. Ooh, yeah, I gotta try it. Yeah, I gotta try it. All right, so now we're going to stir until everything is well incorporated. And this is the part you can add seasoning if you need to, but mine was perfectly fine. But there is a little secret that I do that makes it or takes it to another level, and that is using, how do you say this? Worcestershire sauce. I can never pronounce that. And it just gives it this a hint of sweetness, but then savory. It's delicious, y'all. Y'all need to try it. So that was about a tablespoon, maybe 2 tablespoons of that. You can start off with 1 tablespoon, and if you feel like it can use a little bit more, you can add a little bit more. And this is pretty much our quinoa, guys. Like, very simple and easy. And what we're going to do here, we're going to touffe, like the Haitian says, we're going to touffe. What that means is we're going to let it steam just for another 10 to 15 minutes. All right. And then we're going to remove it off the stove and just keep the lid on. And you will have a perfect quinoa. So delicious. Y'all, we had this with a side of broccoli, what is it called? Mushroom and tofu sauce. So delicious. Oh, as you can see here, I am putting down my volume. Why I keep saying volume? But my stove top. But this is how we had our quinoa, and it was so delicious, y'all. Let me know in the comments below if this is something you're willing to try. And if you tried it, let us know how it tastes. And we hope that you follow, like, and subscribe. And see you in the next video.